Good morning. Welcome to Emerson Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are so glad that you are here. My name is Kelly Froberg, and I am a member of the choir, obviously, and various other groups and committees, and I'll be your worship associate today. I offer a special welcome to those of you joining us for the first time, either in person or online. We are grateful you are here and look forward to getting to know you. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of each and every person through anti-racism, anti-oppression, support for the LGBTQ+ communities, working for reproductive justice, voting rights, and other issues as the world calls us to side with love. We seek to build a beloved community not only here, but in our surrounding area. If you are viewing online, we hope to meet you soon in the future. For everyone here in person, you are invited to join us for social time following the service for light refreshments in our fellowship hall. The fellowship hall is on the first floor behind the sanctuary down this hallway. Then at 11:25, please join us for religious exploration and small group activities. There will be worship reflections here in the sanctuary, and additional offerings are listed in your order of service. Now we're going to pause to light our chalice as a symbol of our shared Unitarian Universalist faith.
I'm not sure our microphone's on. Let's make sure it's on.
Today we light this chalice as we remember to breathe, be calm, and find happiness together.
In the spirit of love and the beloved community, let's greet and welcome each other to this new day as we share our congregational affirmation. We need not think alike to love alike. Thank you, Garnet. In the spirit of love and the beloved community, let's greet and welcome each other to this new day. Those in the sanctuary, do your thing. Those online, you can do a chat to introduce yourself.
Should I do a little tap dancing? Hello and good morning. My name is Reverend Christina Branum-Martin. It is so good to be with you today. I see faces that I've met a few times, those of you coming and visiting and getting to know us, and those who I met on the first day I was here, which I only came in August, but it feels like we are really getting to know each other And amazingly, the year is slowly coming to an end soon. We're starting to plan the summer, and we even sat down, Michael Lukens and myself sat down and planned all the services for next year. Can you believe it? It is springtime, and daffodils have been blooming. I saw the azaleas blooming this morning on the way in. And I'd like to share these words by Evan Carville Zemer as our opening words and call to worship for today. If we lived in another climate, our souls might speak other languages. We might speak oasis or permafrost, dry season or monsoon. But our souls here speak spring. Our souls speak green shoots pushing through last year's leaves like this. This beautiful fig tree offered as a gift of love from one of the members today. Our souls speak flower buds stretching to the sun. Our souls speak mud puddles and nest building, damp earth and worm castings, tiny green leaves and frog choruses. We speak spring because spring sings in us. We gather to nurture our faith in our own growing and our own courage to push through, our own blossoming and beauty, our own small part in the spring of this world. Come, let us worship together this morning, the day we celebrate the spring equinox. Let us sing now together. If you would rise with voice or body or song, number 298, Wake Now Our Senses. The lyrics will be here. We've come to the time in which our community reaches out to each other and shares our joys, our sorrows, and our concerns. In this morning's ritual, Kelly will put rocks in our bowl of water. Those rocks have weight, and they are smooth. They are indicative of life's pleasures and life's difficulties. And may the water receive it with calmness and a sense of ease. In this book that rests in the back of our sanctuary, you are welcome at any time during the week when you are here or on a Sunday morning to put in those things that you are carrying in your heart. And much of our life is driven by technology. So if you find yourself aware that you need to share something, you can email it to pastoralcare@emersonuu.org, and we will include that in the book each week. We place 3 stones every week the first in honor of Cherokee and Muskogee nations, those who lived on this land before we were here. And also in recognition and remembrance of those who worked on this land for hundreds of years without pay, in dignity and life itself. And the last, in recognition of so much that is around us and swirling around us in conflict on this globe, we are reminded each week that we are connected to the humanity of those there, to our hearts here. Within this community, we have quite a few things to share. The first is from the Scow family. Wynn's mother, who was 98, has been in hospice this week and is no longer living as of yesterday. She was the mother of 2 children, 6 grandchildren, and 7 great-grandchildren. Please hold Ruth, Esther, Engler, and the Scow family in your hearts as they move towards letting go of her place. Another is for Arlene Grease, who shares that they have a 14-month-old puppy, but he requires surgery in his hind legs, and they're going to need to take care of him for a little while. So we might not see Arlene for a few weeks. May your dog's healing be swift, Arlene. Judy Allard had surgery this past week and is at home recovering, and we hope that her healing is swift. And Alex Spitzer will have surgery this coming week. He welcomes your good wishes for a recovery. Will you place the last stone for those things that we're not ready to share yet? Those things that become a part of us as they live within us? Thank you. In thankful awareness, will you share with me the words we say each week, the Buddhist prayer of loving kindness? May we all be filled with loving kindness. May we all be free from harm and suffering. May we all be well in body, heart, and mind. May we all be well. May blessed be.
One way that we put our prayer of loving kindness into action is by partnering with other organizations who work to bring love, kindness, and justice to the world. On behalf of the Emerson Social Justice Team, I'd like to let you know that this month we will be supporting Access Reproductive Care Southeast, or ARC. ARC Southeast provides funding and logistical support to ensure Southerners receive safe and compassionate reproductive care, including abortion services. Through education and leadership development, they build power, especially in communities of color, to abolish stigma and restore dignity and justice. For those in the sanctuary, as the basket is passed, Please feel free to offer a donation or see in your order of service other ways to give. For those online, go to emersonuu.org, select the Giving tab to donate. All donations, unless otherwise specified, are shared equally between Emerson and our partner organization.
Please know that your gifts, not only of what might be in your pocket, but what is in your heart and in your action, are received with gratitude here for this community and for the community beyond these four walls. May we change the world with that which we have to give. And we've got a really great story. If Noel Garwick and the young at heart will come forward, we've got a story today called Miss Roomfius. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming down. So this is Miss Roomfius by Barbara Cooney, written and illustrated. Page. Okay, we're going to use our head pictures to start. The lupine lady lives in a small house overlooking the sea. In between the rocks around her house grow blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. The lupine lady is little and old, but she has not always been that way. I know. She is my great aunt, and she told me so. Oh, good job. You guys thought it up there. Good job. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Alice who lived in a city by the sea. Her grandfather worked in the shop at the bottom of the house, making figureheads for the prows of ships. And in the evening, Alice sat on her grandfather's knee and listened to his stories of faraway places. When he had finished, Alice would say, "When I grow up, I too will go to faraway places, and when I grow old, I too will live beside the sea." "That is all very well, little Alice," said her grandfather, "but there is a third thing you must do." "What is that?" asked Alice. "You must do something to make the world more beautiful," said her grandfather. "All right," said Alice, but she did not know what that could be. In the meantime, Alice got up and washed her face and ate porridge for breakfast. She went to school and came home and did her homework, and pretty soon she was grown up. Right? Our parents thinking, that is very real. Then my great aunt Alice set out to do the three things she had told her grandfather she was going to do. First, she slayed a dragon. No, not really. She left home and went to live in another city far from the sea and the salt air. There, she worked in a library, dusting books and keeping them from getting mixed up, and helping people to find the ones they wanted. People called her Miss Roomfius now. That's actually exciting to me because I'm a nerd. Sometimes she went to the conservatory in the middle of the park, and when she stepped inside on a wintry day, the warm, moist air wrapped itself around her, and the sweet smell of jasmine filled her nose. "This is almost like a tropical isle," said Miss Roomfius, "but not quite." So Miss Roomfius went to a real tropical island where people kept cockatoos and monkeys as pets, and she walked on long beaches and picked up beautiful shells. My great aunt Alice Rumphius climbed tall mountains where the snow never melted. She went through jungles and across deserts. She saw lions playing and kangaroos jumping, and everywhere she met friends she would never forget. One day, getting off a camel, she hurt her back. "What a foolish thing to do," said Miss Rumphius. "Well, I have certainly seen faraway places. Maybe it is time to find my place by the sea." And it was, and she did. From the porch of her new house, Miss Rumphius watched the sun come up. She started a little garden among the rocks that surrounded her house, and she planted a few flowers in the stony ground. "There's still one more thing I have to do," she said. "I have to do something to make the world more beautiful. But what could that be?" "The world's already pretty nice," she thought, looking out over the ocean. The next spring, Miss Rumphius was not very well. Her back was bothering her again, and she had to stay in bed most of the time. The flowers she had planted the summer before had come up and bloomed in spite of the stony ground. She could see them from her bedroom window, blue and purple and rose-colored. I love this illustration so much. Relatable. "Lupines," Miss Rumphius said with satisfaction. "I have always loved lupines the best. I wish I could plant more seeds this summer so that I could have still more flowers next year." But she was not able to. I also love that dramatic close-up. After a harsh winter, spring came, and Miss Rumphius was feeling much better. Now she could take long walks again. One afternoon, she started to go up and over the hill where she had not been in a long time. "I don't believe my eyes," she cried when she got to the top. For there, on the other side of the hill, was a large patch of blue and purple and rose-colored lupines. "It was the wind," she thought as she knelt in delight. "It was the wind that brought the seeds from my garden here, and the birds must have helped." Miss Rumphius had a wonderful idea. She hurried home and got out her seed catalogs. And you kids all know what seed catalogs are, right? So it's like a big book, okay, that you get in the mail. You guys use the mail? Oh, okay. It's a magical tome that a wizard uses, and then they send you seeds. She sent off for 5 bushels of lupine seeds. All that summer, Miss Rumphius wandered over fields, highways, and country lanes, scattering seeds. She flung handfuls of seeds around the schoolhouse and the back of the church. Her back didn't hurt at all anymore. Now some people called her that crazy old lady. The next spring, there were lupines everywhere. Fields and hillsides were covered with blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. They almost called the National Guard. They bloomed along the highways and down the lanes. Bright patches lay around the schoolhouse and back of the church. Miss Rumphius had done the third, the most difficult thing of all. My great Aunt Alice Rumphius is very old now. Her hair is very white. Every year there are more and more lupines. Now people call her the Lupine Lady. She tells my friends and me stories of faraway places. When I grow up, I tell her, boom, 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 I too will go to faraway places and come home to live by the sea. That's all very well, little Alice, says my aunt, but there's a third thing you must do. What's that, I ask. You must do something to make the world a more beautiful place. All right, I say. But I do not know yet what that can be. Oh yeah, so please join us now for our song of dedication.
Now we pause for a moment of prayer and meditation. Prayer can be thought of as a way we bring to our consciousness our highest hopes for ourselves, others, and our planet. Meditation is a way of creating a moment of clear space to refresh our spirit and to invite in peace even when things are difficult. In this spirit, please join me. Today we share in a ritual called A Meditation on Planting. It was written by David Sneeden in celebration of the upcoming spring equinox. On this day, there is a perfect balance between the minutes of daytime and nighttime. It's almost here. It's on Tuesday, March 19th this year. This day reminds us of the splendor of the coming spring, a season of hope, renewal, and of the bursting forth of new life all around us. We begin by giving thanks for the earth, the clay from which we are made and to which we will return. This soil here contains the composted papers from our winter solstice worship service in December. It is rich and aromatic. It crumbles in my fingers, dark under my nails. This cleansing dirt, the natural filter for aquifers, holds life. Once weathered rock and dissolved minerals, now joined with humus, decaying material feeding hungry fungus and bacteria. You are living, made of living organisms and giving us life. Forgive us for treating you like dirt, overlooked as we walk over you without a second look, littered with our discarded cartons and plastic bags. Forgive us for seeping toxins from clever industrial innovations. Forgive us and accept these seeds. Seeds promise a future life. May you germinate and live into your full potential. Let your roots feel and follow the earth's gravity down, and let your green shoots break through to the surface and feel the light. Future plant, we thank you. Thank you for converting sunlight into chemical energy that allows us to flourish. Thank you literally for the food we eat. Thank you and accept this water. Water, fundamental compound. We are only a part of your journey. Little puddles making mud, clouds above, glaciers melting over us tower, sprinkling in a springtime shower, the unimaginable expanse of an ocean's depths, vapor in our dying breath. You are in all of us, in every cell of our being. Water, continue to flow. Continue to allow life to grow. Continue to quench our thirst, continuing your cycle through the earth, transpiration and evaporation, condensation and precipitation. Continue to filter and trickle into streams, finally reaching the sea, only to continue your journey again into the air. Air, solution of gases, invisible but felt, held and heard. We feel you as the pressure changes and the trees' leaves dance in our wind. We hold you in anticipation. You are our life breath, flowing in and out of all of us. Oxygen in and carbon dioxide out. Inhale, exhale. Flowing back and forth between plant and person, algae and animal. We hear you, air. You are the conveyance of our encouraging words and uplifting music as your waves vibrate. You surround us and expand through our atmosphere, beyond the stratosphere, towards our sun. Sun, little yellow star, great source of life's energy, bringer of light and warmth, harbinger of the new day as we see you again after another rotation on our axis. Roiling radiant plasma, your solar rays give us hope. Hope for a new tomorrow, hope for warmth after a long winter, hope for light when the future seems dark and so hard to see. Brilliant giant sun, shine down on our little earth. For these we give thanks. So ends our meditation.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. A little over 30 years ago, I was visiting the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico for the first time. I was on a beach vacation with friends. We had plans to drive inland and explore the jungle a little bit and visit the Mayan ruins of the city called Chichen Itza. We arranged to rent a car, and when it arrived at our hotel, we saw that it was a pretty old, dented, bright orange Volkswagen Beetle. They said it was the only one left. So we took it. It had no air conditioning. It had a cranky old stick shift, and unfortunately we found that there were only a few little bit parts of the shocks left. But we were determined. We were going to go on this trip anyway. So on this hot, sunny day, we left the coast and we drove into the cool shade of the jungle. Off on our adventure we went. Well, it was a long 4.5 hours on a long, bumpy road, covered with chickens at times, goats at others, kids playing, small cars driving slowly. But we found our place, our wondrous place. We finally got to Chichen Itza. So out of the jungle, the sun shone brightly on an excavated and cleared 4 square mile area of a collection of connected stone structures that had been found years before, having been covered up for hundreds of years in trees and vines and overgrowth. Chichen Itza was thought to be the religious, military, and political and commercial center at its peak to house a community of 35,000 people. And it was originally founded in the 6th century by the Mayan people who lived in the region. And in the centuries to follow, the Toltecs conquered the Maya and took over the power in the area. The Toltecs added to the city. They built a pyramid to rise high up in the main plaza. And this was the structure that is the highlight of what we came to see. And we took some time to climb up the very steep, short steps to reach the top and marvel at the view. And you can go ahead and put the picture up if you'd like. We learned that this pyramid had 4 sides, each with 91 stairs facing a cardinal direction, including the step at the top platform. These combine to be 365 steps, the number of days in the year. And during the spring and autumn equinoxes, the shadows cast by the sun setting gives the appearance of a snake undulating down the stairways. And if you can see the light coming down, you'll see a snake head at the bottom. Now, mind you, that will only line up in this way 2 days a year to show the whole body of the snake and the snake head. On our trip, I found myself fascinated by the mathematical and engineering wonder of this ancient pyramid. It captures the fleeting moment in which the plane of Earth's equator passes through the center of the sun's disks, and the length of day and night are equal all over the earth. And it is captured on this pyramid with such simplicity and beauty. I haven't made it back for an equinox, but I hope to one day. Well, as you know, the equinox is soon approaching. March 19th, and I saw the exact time, is 10:59 p.m., which is interesting because it will be dark here, but it will be the balance between summer and winter, darkness and light. Reverend Thomas Rhodes reflects on the equinox and says that at this moment of balance and proportion, it can also be a moment that allows us to have revelation and perhaps an epiphany. He suggests that we could let a new consciousness arise, that within our hearts, the great rhythm of our life can shift, And it can be a new way of revealing itself. For at this one precious instant, the nexus of our body and the seat of our soul could exist as one. He said, think of it this way. At that moment, we can give thanks for the times in our lives when all seems at balance. For, as many of us know, probably each one of us know, those times are rare and precious. And the equinox will pass. And perhaps that revelation of that moment will be forgotten. And our actions will go back to not revealing our true selves. But if we can take that moment, even recognizing on that day, to have gratitude and may we remember who we are and reflect on who we can become, and seek the balance in our lives which can bring equanimity and perhaps a little peace to our day. In 2020, the equinox arrived a little earlier than usual, and because of the peculiarities of the calendar, it happened to be the earliest equinox in 124 years. Isn't that a little interesting and maybe ironic? That so much happened in that year. Decades from now, we will not remember 2020 for the peculiarities of an equinox, but we will remember that year, won't we? And we will remember the particular week, which we are acknowledging now, is when we all went into lockdown. I remember myself, I was working at a hospital as a chaplain, and every day we did not know what our job would hold the next day. And I remember the moment I got the call on my phone from the school district that said the schools are shutting down. We all have our stories of that year, don't we? That moment and this particular week. Writer Ashley Strickland writes that for a millennia, humankind has tracked the suns and the seasons and celebrated the promise of renewal and rebirth by joining together outdoors. But not that year. In 2020, we were compelled to do the opposite, weren't we? We were called to retreat indoors and remain in isolation to slow down the march of the coronavirus. And we have been in stages of retreat ever since. So now in 2024, 4 years later, we've returned to some sort of normalcy. And COVID vaccinations have given us that, and masks and distance, and all the things that we have done to become more aware of how intimately we are connected to each other by our breath. And spring is here, isn't it? With daffodils and a little bit of purple crocus popping up. And hope, the hope of spring traditionally represents rebirth and renewal, and that seems within our grasp. But I want to ask you, what kind of normalcy, what kind of normal back then do we want to return to, really? There are some things of the busyness of that time, the way we were together, that maybe we don't want to go back to. Maybe we want to ask ourselves, what do we want to remember from that time and learn from and do a little different? And this might be the opportunity for us to rethink that and to commit ourselves to something new. Reverend Rhodes invites us to reflect each year on the equinox of who we are And who do we want to become? It's almost asking us, what are we committed to? I appreciate that story of Miss Rumphius earlier. She was asked to do something to make the world more beautiful, to put meaning into her life. And as she told her stories of her travels and her adventures to her great-grandchildren, she imparted with them the question of, what will you do to make this world a more beautiful place? And her great-granddaughter at the end of the story said, I'm not sure what that will be yet. Like that great-granddaughter, perhaps we still are trying to figure out, all of us in some way, what we're going to do when we grow up. I know that I want to bring more beauty into this world. I want to bring more love and more understanding and more justice. And I want to contribute to the world, to my commitment to myself and to others, that I will bless the world in some way. And it might take my whole lifetime to figure out how to do that. I like Miss Rumphius' idea of putting seeds in her pocket and scattering it through town as she walked through. So maybe we could do that together someday with our children outside with wildflower seeds and one of our garden plants. That might be a good idea, Susan. There's a minister named Rebecca Parker who wrote a reading called Choose to Bless the World. And when I first read these words, I got tears in my eyes because I thought, there might be a way in which I can make a difference. And during COVID, when we were worshiping separately, we were worshiping through the means of technology, and that text was put to video, and it is more beautiful than I could do it justice with just reading the words to you this morning. So I'm going to share that video from our COVID time together now.
Choose to Bless the World by Reverend Rebecca Parker. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world.
Can you pause it for a second?
The mind's power, the strength of the hands, the reach.
Do we know why that's happening? Feedback? Okay. Is there anything I can do to support that? They can do it up there? Okay. Maybe we could start it over. Thank you.
Choose to Bless the World by Reverend Rebecca Parker. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. The mind's power, the strength of the hands, the reaches of the heart, the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. Any of these can serve to feed the hungry, bind up wounds, welcome the stranger, praise what is sacred, do the work of justice, or offer love. Any of these can draw down the prison door, hoard bread, abandon the poor, obscure what is holy, comply with injustice, or withhold love. You must answer this question. What will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world. The choice to bless the world is more than an act of will, a moving forward into the world with an intention to do good. It is an act of recognition a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, unspeakable beauty, grace, and mystery abide. There is an embrace of kindness that encompasses all life, even yours. And while there is injustice, anesthetization, or evil, there moves a holy disturbance, a benevolent rage, a revolutionary love, protesting, urging, insisting, that which is sacred will not be defiled. Those who bless the world live their life as a gesture of thanks for this beauty and this rage. The choice to bless the world can take you into solitude to search for the sources of power and grace, native wisdom, healing, and liberation. More, the choice will draw you into community, the endeavor shared, the heritage passed on, the companionship of struggle, the importance of keeping faith, the life of ritual and praise, the comfort of human friendship, the company of earth, the chorus of life welcoming you. None of us alone can save the world. Together, that is another possibility waiting.
I am moved by this reading, and it compels me to remember the invitation by Reverend Rose to let the significance of the equinox, the day of balance and proportion, spark meaning as revelation and epiphany for the year to come. Like in that video and the invitation from Rebecca Parker, I want to be moved to bless this world with my life's work. I want to let a new consciousness arise in me, that within my heart, the great rhythm of my life can show and shift and reveal itself. And like the splendor of that snake undulating down on Chichen Itza on the steps of the pyramid, revealed only in that day, at that time, I want to let a new way of revealing itself in my life come to be. I want to bring more beauty to the world. I want to bring more love, more understanding, and more justice. So what, my friends, is being revealed to you? How do you want to bless the world? We each will come up with our own ways, with our hands, with our actions, with our life work, with the children we are raising. May we together in this religious community support each other in those ways in which we do so, to bring about our visions of love and hope and justice and beauty. Perhaps you have a pocket full of lupine seeds, and they might call you the crazy old lady on the hill. May we support each other in our work in whatever way we do it, small, seen, perhaps even unseen. May we change the world with our love. May we support each other in that vision. Amen, and let it be so. Let us close this service with song, For the Earth Forever Turning, number 163, one of my favorites. Garnet, would you come up and help me extinguish the chalice? We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world until we are together again. I don't think we have any announcements, do we?
How many?
Do you want to talk about the pagan circle?
Oh, this is today. So after service today, in addition to the second hour activities that are in your order of service, we are also having the pagan group spring equinox celebration for anybody who would like to attend that. And is that going to be outside, Diane? Out in the Memorial Garden? No. Oh, okay, right there in the front of the parking lot where we have our little plot of land, that's where it's going to be. So if anybody needs help finding it, Diane, raise your hand. There she is. And I don't think we have any other announcements unless there's anything.
It's in the order.
Okay, yeah, so the Buddhist sitting group is also an option. There's so many choices today, but don't forget to come and have snacks right after service in the fellowship hall. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Go now in peace and take peace wherever you go.